Evening and welcome to Global Business Report. Tonight we examine one of the most impactful corporate controversies of 2023 and 2024. The consumer boycotts against McDonald's and Starbucks, their legal and financial consequences, and the cross border challenges involved. Joining me are reporter Benali, a business and legal analyst, and Miguel Torres, an expert in international relations. Welcome, gentlemen. Here are some key facts. Let's start with the facts. Porter, can you summarize what happened?
Sure, in late 2023, McDonald's and Starbucks faced massive consumer boycotts due to their perceived stance on the Israel Gaza conflict. So the controversy began when McDonald's franchises in Israeli free meals to Israeli soldiers, leading to a backlash in several Muslim majority countries. And Starbucks, on the other side, sued the Starbucks Worker United Union after the union posted pro-Palestinian content on social media. This legal battle further fueled boycotts in regions that were already critical of Western corporate involvement in political issues.
What about context and parties involved? Miguel, for our viewers who may not be familiar with the background, what is the broader context of this conflict?
The Israel-Gaza conflict intensified in 2023 after a series of violent escalation between Hamas and the Israel military. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza led to widespread protests globally, with calls to boycott companies perceived and supporting Israel. McDonald's, headquartered in the US, and Starbucks, also a US company, were drawn into this controversy due to actions by their franchises and internal policies. The boycotts gained momentum in the Middle East, North Africa, and parts of Asia, significantly affecting business operation in those regions.
All right. Talking about legal nature of the dispute, Quoter, what legal issues were involved in this case? Can you tell us, please?
So there were multiple legal angles. First of all, we have the intellectual property and defamation. Starbucks sued the union for trademark infringements, arguing that the SWU's pro-Palestinian posts damage its brand reputation, and the union countersued, claiming Starbucks defamed them. Secondly, we have contractual and franchise disputes. In Malaysia, McDonald's franchises sued the boycotts, divestments, sanctions movement for financial damages, arguing that the boycott misrepresented its corporate ties to Israel. And thirdly, we have the corporate liability. Both companies had to address shareholder concern over financial losses due to their perceived political affiliations.
Uh-huh. All right, interesting. Private international law and jurisdiction. Where were these legal disputes filed and what laws applied?
Firstly, Starbucks filed its lawsuit in the United States, where intellectual property laws were debated. We also have that the McDonald's franchise lawsuit in Malaysia was based on on local corporate and defamation laws. And to finish with, some consumer rights groups attempted legal action in European courts, citing corporate responsibility under United under EU laws. While Starbucks case was handled under US law, the McDonald's Malaysia lawsuit has cross-border implications, and the challenge was whether a ruling in Malaysia would be enforced elsewhere, such as in countries where McDonald's was also facing backlash.
All right. Then moving on, we have outcome and current status. What's the latest on these cases? Have they been resolved?
Starbucks dropped its lawsuit against the union after facing the internal pressure, but the damage was already done. Its global sales dropped by 11 billion, and the CEO stepped down. Moreover, the McDonald's Malaysia lawsuit is still ongoing. Though the company has distanced itself from the Israeli franchise actions, and financially, both companies saw losses in affected markets. Though by early 2025, recovery in global sales.
All right. Then, Miguel, from a geopolitical perspective, do you think the response to these boycotts was fair?
It depends on the perspective. Consumers have the right to boycott, and regions like the Middle East, where public sentiment was strong, the economic impact was inevitable. However, Starbucks' legal action against it on workers raised ethical concerns, making in upper a stroke in the was surpassing political expression. McDonald's, on the other hand, struggled with the decentralized nature of franchise model. The company itself was directly involved in the Israel franchises and actions, yet it suffered global backlash. This shows the difficulty of maintaining a neutral stance in the political charged conflicts.
All right. Quoter, from a legal standpoint, do you think these cases set any precedents?
Yeah, absolutely. This case highlights key cross border challenges. First of all, we have corporate responsibility in global conflicts. So, companies now face increased scrutiny over their political and humanitarian stances. Secondly, franchise model versus central corporate policy. So, McDonald's struggled to control the actions of independent franchises, raising legal questions about corporate liability. And thirdly, we have the jurisdictional complexity. So, Starbucks' case in the US and McDonald's case in Malaysia show how difficult it is to enforce legal ruling across multiple countries.
Wow, so interesting. Then, some questions here. What's the main takeaway from this case?
Business can no longer ignore global political uses, whether they engage or try to remain neutral. Consumer perception will determine their fate.
And legally, this case reinforces the importance of clear corporate policies when dealing with global conflicts. Companies must be prepared for cross border legal challenges and reputational risks. risks.
Well, that's the end of this little show. Thank you both for your insights. This case is a lesson on how geopolitics, businesses, and law are increasingly intertwined. That's it for tonight. Global Business Report. Stay tuned for more updates on the evolving landscape of corporative accountability. See you.